Hey everybody out there, Chris here, and welcome back to another Dark Avengers comic book review. Sorry it's 2 days late, guys. There's actually two reasons why this is 2 days late. It's kind of funny. First reason is, over the past weekend plus, we've been nursing and taking care of a baby sparrow whom we found it fell out of its nest. It turns out the parents had left the nest, and the babies soon after disappeared, but the baby we found, we've been taking care of and nursing it. We're going to take care of it until it's able to fly on its own. Once it's able to be independent, we're going to be setting it free so that it can go live out the rest of its life in peace and harmony. But until then, we've been very busy feeding it and taking care of it, making sure it's healthy, clean, and whatnot. We've been talking with professionals for the entire weekend, trust me. And the second reason is something that came at the beginning of the week. See, I did order 2 books last week, and yeah, they kind of came they came at the beginning of well, one came on the weekend and I sort of started reading it. The second one came at the beginning of this week, and let's just say that book kind of is the reason why this comic review's a day later than it should have been. It kind of actually deviated me from reading these comics because it was so good. I engrossed myself in the entire book from beginning to end. So, suffice it to say, there's about 2 Comic Book Corner episodes that'll be coming up pretty soon. Let's leave it at that. Once I read the second book and get a little bit more from the first book I read, I'll be doing more Comic Corners. But until then, I got back into the... once I finished the book, I got right back into the comic books, got on the saddle, and I finished the books. Today's Tuesday. This will be up by Wednesday. Once again, sorry, it's 2 days late, guys. Gonna try to get back on some type of regimen, but I'm buying a lot of comics now, so I need a lot more time to read them, or else I'm going to miss out on key points and reasons for why I like or dislike a book. So you're gonna have to just bear with me, guys. I'm gonna try my hardest to get it done on Sundays, but if it takes an extra day or two because of the extra comics, there's really nothing I can do. Also announced freshly from DC, leave your opinions below in the comments because I love comments. DC announced in June one of their big superheroes is going to be announced gay. One of their mainstream superheroes, they announced it's going to be a man, and it's going to be a well-known superhero, and that character is going to turn out to be, they're going to make him gay or something like that. One of the newer gay superheroes is going to be an iconic superhero from who knows when. So everybody's already throwing out predictions that it's Superboy, that it's Tim Drake. People are like, it better not be Batman, it can't be this one, it can't be that one. I can only name one superhero that if they do that to him, I will be done with his comic books forever, because that will be the drasticest of drastic changes, and my hands will be washed of that series forever. I won't mention any names. But anyway, who is it? We don't know. We'll find out next month in June. So guys, if you've been reading a lot of DC, I honestly don't read too much into DC anymore. I can tell you I know it's not Hal Jordan, because Hal Jordan is trying to get things fixed with Carol. So you could eliminate Green Lantern, but there's still a lot of other characters out there. Somebody mentioned Wally West even. So we'll find out next month who it is. My prediction is it's either somebody from the JSA book, Earth 2, or it's going to be possibly somebody else from the Teen Titans. I'm not against the whole gay introduction into comic books. I'm all for it. I like the character Bunker, did not like Teen Titans. However, once again, this all goes back to the main point of these are iconic characters that have been around for about 80, 90 years now. To make a drastic change like that after 90 years, yeah. I've posted this question out to a lot of people and nobody really knows how to answer. I'll post it out to you guys. I think that, is DC Comics just looking for reasons to go bankrupt? First of all, Marvel's sweeping them under the floor with their movies. The books are doing pretty good. I mean, a lot of people have argued about the books are in the top 10. I can't argue. It's very true that DC Comics books are in the top 10 sales every month. So you can't argue that the books are not selling. Obviously they are, and they're selling very well. Now the question is, I know a lot of people are buying it up to the 12th issue and then they're letting go of a lot of the books. They're only buying it to have the first 12 issue run. I guess we'll find out in the coming year if DC Comics stays in the top 10. Probably will though, because there are a few good books in DC, but you know, with all the changes they're making, you gotta kind of question why they're going completely, they're literally taking their universe and turning it inside out. And that leads me to question why they would do such a dramatic change to so much of their universe, to the point where people like me who've been reading the universe since 1998 don't even recognize DC Comics anymore. It's kind of sad, but that's the way life is, and I'm going to leave it at that. So leave your comments below. Who do you think is going to be the character that they're going to announce to be gay? We'll find out. First off, these comic books in this review were released on May 16, 2012, except this one. This one was released in April 2012. I don't know what week. Mega Man number 13. Pete from Pete's Basement's been reviewing this book for a bit, and I debated on getting it. A lot of people asked me about Sonic 2, why I dropped it. I do regret dropping Sonic, and I probably will start picking it up again, especially now that I've dropped a lot of other books, and I'm getting more into the independent books. But I'm very glad I picked up Mega Man. I enjoyed the story. It's the first part to a new arc. Unfortunately, I have no backstory. I've not read this book ever before, so this is completely new to me. It's just, it's like jumping in the middle. Dr. Light and everybody are at a robot convention. He's in a debate against somebody else. It turns out to be somebody he liked from his past, one of the doctors he worked with when he was younger. She's against robots having feelings and emotions. He's for it, and he's explaining how Mega Man and his sister, he built them and they were children, and he raised them like they were his children, and they're the pride and joy of his life. And the other one saying robots are meant to do calculations. They shouldn't feel the calculations. They should just be doing them. A lot happens in the middle of that, and then there's a guy that shows up at the very end. His name is, I can't remember his last name, but he talks like Mr. Garrison with the MK. Harvey Greenleaf, and he believes all the robots need to be destroyed. There needs to be an end to the future in advanced robotics. I like the way Mega Man's costume kind of like just powers on and stuff. The artwork is, however, very good. I've never really played any of the Mega Man games. I played like maybe 1 or 2 of them. Really cool artwork. I enjoyed it. I'll come back for the next issue, absolutely. For those of you guys who are looking for, oh, and he's also the leader of the Emerald Spears. But for those of you who are looking into, different, like, out of the way of the big two, this was a very good book. If you like Mega Man, check it out. I was going to get Sonic with Mega Man. Unfortunately, last minute before my order, the book sold out, and I didn't have a chance to get Sonic, so in the end I kind of lost out on getting Sonic. So I'll get the next issue instead. It's not going to jump in the middle of a story arc, so it's alright. Voltron issue 5 finally. Oh, I'm so glad to see Voltron again. The crew, the Voltron Force, get their lions back. Finally. And Keith and Zarkon have a fight for Sigi? I don't know, S-I-G-I? Siege? And Keith takes his lion back. He's like, look, you can fight me all you want. I'm leaving with my lion, and I don't care what the odds are, I'm leaving. He takes his lion and goes off. Zarkon lets him go, and I don't know. He runs off, but he tells his son Lotor to follow. He doesn't want to. He wants to stay around and fight Voltron. I like the way they actually had him form Voltron. They actually did the whole lines and everything. I liked it. It was fun to see. It was actually fun to see that. So Voltron's fighting against Lothor and his people. In the end, Lothor does leave to Planet Doom. And long story short, Voltron comes crashing down into the Earth. All the crew's okay except for one. Which one? You gotta read the book. I really, highly enjoyed this book. This was action-packed this time. They've got their lions back. Voltron, before crashing into the Earth, just rocked the socks off of everything Lothor threw at him. It was really good. I would highly recommend, guys, if you were a Voltron fan, this is really good. It's not that, it doesn't deviate that much from the actual anime series. For those of you who are questioning whether it deviates a lot, it does not. It basically follows, it keeps continuity pretty well with the little changes here and there. Maybe a little kind of major change, but still, it was really good. I highly recommend this from Dynamite, as well as The Shadow, issue number 2. In this issue, it's more straightforward. The Shadow is going to Hong Kong. I forgot the name of the brother. I will look at it as soon as Mike's done scanning. Okay. This time I got the name. I remembered Right, did I get it? Okay, maybe nope, wrong page. It was this one. Kondo. So the Shadow's off to Hong Kong to find the Kondo brother, and there's a whole talk about the Kondo brother and the general from Hong Kong, and they're doing a lot of dirty work. So Shadow's on his way. Turns out that the brother knew the Shadow was coming and who the Shadow was, and he actually sent people on the plane. He gave his location, and it turned out there was German people, Nazis, and in the middle of the flight they actually attacked the Shadow, and he actually fights back on the plane, and that's basically the whole book. Oh, I want to show some artwork, that's right, that's why I opened the book. I actually show a page of that. And Shadow fights back, and in the end, long story short, the plane lands in Hong Kong, and it's to be continued there. So the Shadow's coming for the Kondon. Let me make sure I'm pronouncing the name right. I want to make sure I'm pronouncing it right because I don't want to look. Kondo family. Well, the Kondo brother, and it made this issue kind of jump me more straightforward into it. Really good. Highly recommend this and issue 1. Shadow definitely picked up in this one. The action was crazy. I'm looking forward to the next issue. Yeah, just highly recommend it. It's really, really good. Sorry if I'm very vague with the independents. To be quite honest with you guys, if you're a fan of the Shadow from back in the day, you'll be reading it. If you're a fan of Voltron, the animated series, or other, you'll be reading this. So these other books, especially like, for example, Star Wars, Dawn of the Jedi, Force Storm #4. If you're not a fan of Star Wars, you're not going to really be interested in this book. However, I'm a fan of Star Wars. This is the whole dawn of the beginning of the Jedi, and this was really good. Turns out the character, what's his name first? Let me get his name first. It's the very end of the book. Xesh, Xesh, is fighting. You get flashbacks from his past. It turns out he's alive, and everybody's going towards a specific place that the Force is drawing them to, and he has flashbacks. It jumps from past to present. He's like kind of going through certain trials and fights to survive, and in the end he actually comes back into contact with the other 3 Jedi. Really good artwork. Actually, there was one specific page I wanted to pick. I think I passed it already because I was looking for. This book is really good. I'm sad to say that this is the second to last part. The next issue is the conclusion to the Dawn of the Jedi. As I've said before, Blood Ties is continuing with issue 2. I'll be getting that. Darth Vader and the Ghost Prison is coming out next week. Or this week, so I'm going to be enjoying reviewing that this coming weekend. Knights of the Old Republic War ended, and then they're talking about books. So there's another Star Wars series that was announced. I think it'll be mentioned next month. It depends on if I'm interested in the series. If it sounds good, I'll be grabbing it. If not, I'll still be getting the Darth Vader one and concluding the Boba Fett one. But this is really good. This is my favorite one out of all of them thus far. We'll see when the Darth Vader one comes out if I like that one just as much as I love the Dawn of the Jedi. Highly recommend this for those of you Star Wars fans. Number 1. Now these are I could get more in depth with. Hardcore number 1. I didn't want to get this at first. I was actually debating, and I needed to get one more book anyway from Midtown to get the free shipping because it's X amount of money and you get free shipping. So I decided, because of that, I said, okay, fine. I'll take a chance. Let me get Hardcore number 1. It's written by Robert Kirkman, and the art is by Mark Silvestri. I know both people. I know Robert Kirkman from several books. He's done Walking Dead. He's done a good job on that. I just not a fan of the. You guys know about Walking Dead. And Silvestri, I've seen his artwork all over the place. So I gave it a chance. The hardcore basically is a device. It's explained. This entire book explains actually what the device is. It's a company that targets really bad people, like really big, like gangster kind of people that are looking to destroy the world or whatnot. And the hardcore is a device that is implanted through a sniper into the base of the spine of the victim that the main character, whose name is, I want to make sure I get his name right, Drake, Agent Drake, and he's the one that controls the basically the hardcore takes over the person's body, and he's the one that basically now controls over the body, because he's the operator of the hardcore device, and basically the person that takes over the person who's taken over his body. And basically what he does is he gets in where nobody else can get in and eliminates the target, whether it be a terrorist or whatever. And he's done this for X amount of missions. He actually has a mission the following day, and after you get through all of the explanation of what the hardcore is, I left a lot out, guys. You're just going to have to read this book. I actually enjoyed it enough to say I'll come back for the next issue. Turns out his brother was the one that actually developed the hardcore project, and it was him that was supposed to pilot the hardcore machine and take over other people's bodies, but his brother stepped in, and his brother actually beat out the he was just better than his brother, so he got in. And then, long story short, in the end, it turns out the brother who warned his younger brother that he was gonna, his name was Marcos, that what was it? That his brother isn't taking him seriously, and that I hope you're listening now, in other words. So basically he has, what's the word, how many hours? He has 72 hours in the body that's possessed by the hardcore before he gets a dramatic feedback in the machine, and basically it kills him. So, yeah. It's left off with him in somebody else's body, or taking over somebody else's body, in order to do, he was supposed to complete a mission, but now his mission is to save himself, basically. So I guess he's going to use the body in the next issue to get back to the hardcore project and release himself from the hardcore before the feedback, and he goes completely brain dead. Really good issue. I left a lot out. I left a lot for you guys to wonder what more happens in this book. It is a, I believe, $2.99 book. I don't know. Image is doing a great job of putting their things in the back of the book. Yes, it is a $2.99 book. I would highly recommend giving it a shot. It's by Top Cow and Image. Up to you guys once again. Next up, the ever so popular Manhattan Project, number 3. So anyway, in this issue, they're creating the atomic bomb. And President Truman, I believe, dies, but they actually, no, FDR, the president dies, FDR dies, and then, what's his name takes over, Truman takes over as president, and he finds out that FDR, was running the project, had this underground project which was known as the Manhattan Project. However, he didn't like what he was hearing about the project, that they developed an atomic bomb, and they're like, Mr. President, we want to drop it. This is the whole Hiroshima time, and the president's like, no, do not drop the bomb. And I love how the general's like, are you sure, Mr. President? And he's like, yes, abort the mission. And he's like, I can't really hear you. And he's like, don't drop the bomb. He's like, I understand. And then it actually reads, they attach his brain to, FDR's brain to a AI system, so he's still alive through an AI. And it actually says, all we have to fear is ourselves. It's actually cool, because this is like something that, it's what if? What if something different happened instead of the way it happened in our, what do you call it? It's like, in other words, Hiroshima happened, but it's different. Like, if everything went wrong, in other words. So they dropped the bomb, and that's where the end of the issue is. There's a lot of stuff that happens in between with Einstein, and I just love this issue. I really enjoyed it. I love Manhattan Project. Jonathan Hickman is just, this is a home run, in my opinion. This book and the next 2 books are home runs for, and this book is for Image. Oh, all the books are from Image. This was a home run book. This is a miniseries from Image by Mark Miller and Dave Gibson. We have The Secret Service #2. In this issue, he asks his... I forgot his name. I'll wait for you to finish. Okay? It's right here. Agent Jack, I forgot his last name though. He basically goes to his nephew, which his name is Gary, and he actually, from the last issue we hear that he wanted to enroll him in a secret spy into the academy because he saw a lot of himself in his nephew. At the very beginning of the book though, it turns out that we don't know who yet, but these terrorists have the ability to get into people's minds, and basically they cause an entire massacre of people at a wedding, like all newlyweds. And so basically he goes to Gary and he explains the whole thing. I'm a secret agent, yada yada. I want you to join this academy. I have a feeling this is going to be good for you. It's going to help benefit you a lot. And then basically he leaves him off at home and he says, I'll come back tomorrow, let me know. Oh, it is Jack London, I was right, I had to make sure. Agent Jack London, who is the uncle to Gary. So there's a problem with the mind control and everything, and they're debating on, they're trying to figure out who did it, but he still has to take Gary to the academy. It turns out Gary does go, and so now it's all about training. He goes through a bit of training. They ask him if he's sure he wants to join. He says yes. And I'll leave the ending out, but basically Gary asks where's his uncle, and it turns out that his uncle is on a secret mission in Hong Kong, to be continued, surrounded by, he's left in a very precarious situation, let's leave it at that. So, yeah, that was Secret Service, and I'm loving it. I'm loving every second of this book. I left out a lot in the middle, so you guys can check this out. I'm leaving stuff out in the middle of these books from now on, guys, so you can actually go and buy these books and have something to read instead of me telling you everything that happens in the book, and then you're like, well, I know what's going to happen now. This is really good. I left out key points in this that you guys really would want to read. You want to read issue 1, absolutely also. It's really good. It's a limited series. I thought this was going to be an ongoing. It turns out that it's going to be a 5-issue series. So check it out. Secret Service. Really good. Another series, but this is an ongoing, definitely, that's doing really, really good. Saga, issue 3. It turns out that the spirits, they can hurt people by giving them like they can get into their brains and really screw around with them, and those people commit suicide. But it turns out they don't want to do it to Marco or his wife. Marco is dying, and basically the spirit wants one thing in return for helping them. He needs Snow to heal himself. And the spirit says, I need to attach myself to somebody who was born on this planet because I want to leave with you. She's like, sure, join the family. And she doesn't know she has to attach to somebody, so she says, I have to attach to the baby. And the wife's like, I don't think so. She's like, I'll help you. I promise I'll help you. And throughout the entire book, we also have the bounty hunters that are chasing after them. So, I'm not going to say if the spirit does or doesn't attach to the baby yet, but in the end there is kind of a little bit of a twist. So they're off to find Snow so that Marco can heal. And in the very end he makes a statement because he doesn't think he's going to make it. And I'll leave that statement up to you guys to read also, because Saga is really, really good. Did I show artwork, Mike? Did not show artwork. I like this part right here where she's explaining how to birth the baby. Kind of funny. Really, really good. I like this a lot. Did I show Secret Service artwork? Ooh. Did I show Secret Service, Mike?
Don't think you did.
Okay. You guys know Dave Gibson's artwork, but I'll show you guys some artwork from Dave Gibson anyway. Okay, next up is really good. Check this out. Check this out, and check this out. All 3 of these have been out for, this has been out for 2 issues, this has been out for 3, and this has been out for 3. All 3 are really, really good. This is a #1. Highly recommend checking out the #1 for hardcore. as I predicted, this is the last issue of Clockworks, Locke and Key issue 6. There's 7 issues to go. This concludes the whole past, how everything happened in the past with Dodge, with the father, everything. It all explained. We find out in the second book where they find the headcase key, we see the father had dropped the headcase key in the pond. You find out about how all the keys got scattered, where they were, how Dodge set up the failsafe so in the future he could come back, how he turned into the girl. Everything is explained. And at the end of this book, basically everything's finally explained with beautiful artwork, by the way. Very beautiful artwork. But in the end, everybody goes their separate ways who's alive. A lot of people definitely died in this book. And we find out that the Whispering Iron, they got a little bit of the Whispering Iron, and it turns out it's on Tyler's hat. And that's it for the Clockworks. There's a lot of stuff in the middle. You guys just got to read this. Coming fall 2012, the final the final series, which is known as Omega. Looking forward to it. However, Omega is going to be 6 parts. So what's the 7th book? Because there's 7 books left. In August, Locke and Key Grindhouse. So there'll be a one-shot and then a 6-issue finale to Locke and Key starting in the fall. My God, I'm excited. I can't wait. We're done with the past. This basically wraps up. This was basically the beginning. They went back in time to find out the origin of how Dodge became the way he was, the father, how he forgot about the keys and everything like that. Everything was finally explained in this series. Clockworks concludes the beginning. Now Omega is going to get into the future, the present. They're going to be in the present, and it's going to conclude the entire Locke and Key series in whole, permanently. Or maybe they'll come back with a different series after Locke and Key. We don't know yet. But I loved it. Highly recommend book 6 when it comes out. I believe book 6 will probably come out in July. If we're lucky, book 6 will probably come out around July or August. But Clockworks was awesome. Definitely pick up the trade paperback if you did not pick up the 6 issues for it. And I hope that in the 6th book they'll have the one-shot that came out. Really good. Moving into the big 2, Green Lantern Corps number 9. This is the trial of John Stewart, and it does not end well, but throughout the entire middle, nobody believed at first that John Stewart did it. Then John Stewart explained why he did it, and the person he was with when they were captured says also he did it because he was protecting the Corps. Even Guy Gardner tries to help, and in the end, it does not end well. It does not go well at all for John Stewart. There's a fight in the beginning of the book where the Alpha Lanterns are fighting the Green Lanterns, but John Stewart's like, no, stop this, I'll go in peace, you know. And actually, Guy Gardner goes to the Guardians and tries to talk with them, and yeah. They don't help. It's judicial, they say. I'm getting the thing. So this was the independent part with one DC comic book. I would say it's my 3rd favorite Green Lantern book still. The trial continues. What happens next with the verdict in the next issue? 3rd place of the 3 books from DC this week. Up to you guys. Green Lantern Corps, once they get through John Stewart's storyline, we'll see where it goes from there. If I keep it or if I end up dropping. I'm probably going to hold on to it anyway, just to see until the Guardian crossover happens. Anyway, come back, guys, with the last 2 issues from DC, and then we're doing all Marvel, baby, and there's a lot of Marvel to go around. So, see you guys in part 2. If you enjoyed this video, give it a favorite, show YouTube you liked it, subscribe if you like this. If you like this video, there will be more on the way, plus part 2. Come back, see you guys soon. Comment below anything you've seen here, questions, like, dislike. See you guys in part 2 before I get kicked off.